Now here, this video is pretty much about those of you who are sick and tired of the country and you wish you could leave, want to leave, may leave. I read a super interesting blog post by an expat trying to claim political refugee status in, I don't know if it was Brazil or Chile. And he went on to talk about how he's been arrested for protests, thrown in jail, corruption, for exposing corruption, a whole bunch of stuff. Guy who truly concerned about America, um, and just said, you know what, screw it, I'm sick of all this, and I'm leaving the country. And he went down there, and everything he was talking about, because he's still very familiar with what's happening in America. It was a very long blog post, by the way, but he touched on a key number of stuff, and I'm like, man, this guy, I really like what I'm reading here. Man, this guy's on point. And I almost sent it to myself to do a video. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be a long one if I do one, but at the very end of it, at the very end of his video, or excuse me, his blog post, he says something like, in order for me to survive down here in Chile or Brazil, wherever he was at, it's difficult. And not just, you know, culturally, which is what he was talking about, but financially, it's difficult. Your donations, if you enjoy this article and the things I talk about, please donate that, to help me stay here, basically, is what he was saying. I said, okay, so I appreciate everything he said. I felt like if I was talking to him, dude, I feel you. Everything you said, I'm with you. Except you left one corrupt country to go to another corrupt country that has its own similar problems that ours has. So much so that you can't even survive over there monetarily, and you need to ask for donations to literally just live by the very basics. So leave America, but I already left, and I need you Americans to support me. What's wrong with that? If it's such a good idea to leave the country, then that means all of us should go over there and be able to survive and not call back home to the country that we didn't like and want to leave to say, hey, friends and people on the internet, help me continue to write these things, support me so that I can write these things and maintain my life here. So that's a problem. And the point is this. You ain't going to be able to go anywhere and not have to deal with something. And the last thing I would want to be on, in all honesty, is an American or former American citizen that moved to some other country. Hey guys, I'm with you. I didn't like America and the Western world, man. I'm with you guys. Because when crap goes down, the citizens of whatever country you're there will rally together like they always do. And if by God you got more than they have in any way, shape, or form in that little community, what do you think they're going to say? They're going to feel bad. I'll get the American. Yeah, but he's a good guy. He came over because who cares? We've been living here all this time. It's because of his country. He's been paying his taxes all those years. He contributed to this. Let's go take his stuff. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Having said that, I've got a not real long story to read you. How about a country such as one you never really hear about? Guatemala, another Spanish speaking country. I was just talking about Brazil, Chile. Throw Guatemala in there. Talking about corrupt governments all over the planet. So this is titled by Mr. Dean Henderson, Guatemala's Labor Day Uprising. As Americans celebrate Labor Day with parades and picnics, the Guatemalan left is spending the early part of this weekend celebrating the resignation and incarceration of President Otto Molina Perez, who stepped down on Friday in a huge victory for the tens of thousands of workers who have been protesting for months and calling for his ouster. Molina, owner of Gallo Breweries, the largest in Guatemala, is in military lockup and faces corruption and customs fraud charges. Just 4 months ago, 4 months earlier, Vice President Roxana Baldetti had also been forced from office due to her involvement in the same customs scandal. But the celebration was short-lived. On Sunday, Guatemaltecos went to the polls Like is that it's of Guatemalans? Is it Guatemaltecos went to the polls to vote for the nation's next president in a regularly scheduled election, which saw every rock, tree trunk, and bridge painted in the hue of some political party. Comedian Jimmy Morales won the first round with 24%, not enough to avoid an October runoff. The second place winner, who will face Morales in the runoff, will be either right wing businessman Manuel Baldizon or former First Lady and businesswoman Sandra Torres. But to most Guatemaltecos, they all look the same. They come from the same infamous uh, seven family oligarchy, which has lorded over their nation since its inception. As Manfredo Mariquin, president of Citizen Action, stated, quote, "The people are rejecting this political system, the mafia takeover of democracy. They feel like voting is simply selecting the next person who will loot the country. They are not rejecting democracy. What they're demanding is to reset, run an antivirus, and start over from scratch." Man, is that not a good sentence right there? Guatemalan genocide. The CIA overthrew. So here's America's role, as always, in all of these Spanish-speaking countries. By the way, rinse and repeat. You don't believe me? Go watch the interview from the guy. The video is called um, "An Economic Hitman" or "Interview from an Economic Hitman." He did this for a living. He'll tell you all about it. And as I read this, I thought, oh, this is everything this guy was talking about. I'm just reading it now instead of watching it in this guy's documentary from a while back. The CIA overthrew nationalist Jacobo Arbenz in 1954 and replaced him with a dictatorship led by General Castillo Armas, the first in a series of brutal military governments beholden to UB and its cocaine syndicate. The generals ruled Guatemala for an eerie 33 years, while Arbenz loyalists fought a guerrilla war against the various juntas from the Altiplano provinces bordering Mexico. Their UNRG ranks consisted of Quechua, Quechical, and Mam Indians, who make up the majority of Guatemala's population. To counter the rebels, the CIA worked closely with Israeli Mossad and Taiwanese advisors in creating model villages patterned after the strategic hamlets which were employed during the Vietnam War. Part of the program was Guatemalan President Efrain Rios Mont's 1980s Beans for Rifles efforts, though which Highland villagers receive food via the U.S. aid, which is whenever you hear U.S. aid, that's CIA. In case anyone is not up to date on that, when you hear the word U.S. aid in any sentence, especially on mainstream media, because that's the only place you're going to hear it, that is hush hush for CIA. Just throw that out there for you. So received food via USA in containers displaying U.S. flags and pro-U.S. slogans. In return, the villagers were expected to take up arms against the Guatemala rebels. U.S. aid funded the construction of roads into rebel-held areas in Alta Verapaz province, enabling the Guatemalan army to reach remote villages where it interrogated, tortured, and killed over 100,000 Guatemalan Indians who refused to demur to CIA counterinsurgency efforts during the 80s and 90s. The Guatemalan military spawned right-wing death squads who ran Colombian cocaine north, utilizing export processing zones run by U.S. multinationals like United Brands. On September 14, 1996, Guatemalan police captured the head of the largest of these narco death squads, Alfredo Moreno Molina. Moreno started talking, and Guatemalan oligarchy, which owns 85% of the country's arable land, began to tremble. Among Moreno's cohorts were President Efrain Rios Montt, who claimed to be an evangelical or Christian, ex-presidential candidates Alfonso Portilla and Zuri Rios, and scores of right-wing congressmen from Frente Republicano Guatemalteco. In early 1997, as UNRG rebels were signing a historic peace accord with the government, the Guatemala periodical Emeritita published a series of articles implicating the CIA in Moreno's death squad in drug trafficking activities. That's a shocker. Our CIA, you do know it stands for the Cocaine Importing Agencies. I mean, come on. Moreno's ring included the Vice Minister of Defense, Captain of the Guatemalan Navy, Inspector General of the Guardia de Haciendas, Inspector General of the National Police, Joint Guardia Police Operations Officer, Chief of Motorized Police, Director General of Customs, and many high-ranking generals, colonels, customs officials, and police chiefs. These same death squads presided over a rash of kidnappings that engulfed Guatemala during the mid-1990s. The three high-ranking generals who oversaw the kidnapping ring were Luis Ortega, Manuel Callejas, and Edgar Godoy. The ring was so powerful and included so many Guatemalan officials that it would never have been exposed had the UNRG rebels not spilled the beans during the peace talks. Indictments were slow to come, with oligarch Attorney General Hector Perez working to stall the investigation. The amount of people that are part of the club, and in this case the Guatemalan club, is astounding. Where else do you see members of these clubs? Not that club, different club. Obama selects his attorney general, selects his Security and Exchange Commission head, selects his federal judges, selects his Supreme Courts, selects anybody and everything that matters at the top level. They did the same thing here. Here it is right here. Guatemala, for God's sakes. Yeah, third world country. We're not going to call Guatemala a first world. No. And it doesn't matter now, does it? It's everywhere. But where did it start? We overthrew somebody in one of these countries, which in this case, in this instance, is Guatemala, instilled our own friend slash dictator in what has happened for the last 60, 70 years. Rinse and repeat in pretty much any other country that speaks Spanish. You can add Brazil, Colombia, etc. It's the same story. So it said, let me read these last two paragraphs. After Torricella made his allegations, an NSA staffer sent him a note stating that NSC and the U.S. Army had been directly involved in both Divine and Bamaka assassinations as advisors to an elite G2 secret unit with the Guatemalan military. Guatemalan scholar Aner Narin says CIA worked closely with G2, whose primary mission was the elimination of political opposition through death squads. After news of Divine's death surfaced, Congress cut off military aid to Guatemala, but the CIA secretly retained a $5 million annual budget for Guatemala operations. Army Colonel Julio Alperez was paid $44,000 by the CIA after the company knew he was involved in Divine's death. Torricelli said the American people were about to hear things about their own intelligence agencies that would horrify them. Even Senator Arlen Specter, the Warren Commission lackey, was forced to admit that the CIA had withheld information from the investigation. President Clinton was so shocked by the revelations that he sent FBI agents to the NSA to investigate this guy's allegations. NSA was now busy shredding documents regarding Guatemala. It was the first time in U.S. history that a president used the FBI to investigate the NSA. In June 1996, the Senate Intelligence Oversight Board released a 53-page document which stated, quote, several CIA agents were credibly alleged to have ordered, planned, or participated in serious human rights violations such as assassinations, extrajudicial executions, torture, or kidnapping. The CIA was contemporaneously aware of many of the allegations. Torricelli was later subject to a phony political scandal which forced him to abandon his 2002 bid for re-election. Now, anyone want to move to Guatemala? Maybe Brazil, Chile, South America somewhere. Oh, I hear, oh, you gotta, go to one of these South American countries, and you can live for $2,000 a month. You live like a king. Several $100s a month is good. It's decent living. $2,000 a month, you can afford a maid, come do your, cook for you, do your laundry, keep your house clean. Good money, man. South America. Once again, when all this goes down and people are suffering, and just like I showed you in the guy's video over in Venezuela, lines 4 or 5 deep, wide, going kilometers long to the only location where they can get food. I guess it was a government drop-off zone. Other people breaking in, stopping beer trucks, pillaging the beer trucks to get anything they can get their hands on. What do you suppose would happen if you, as an American, were living over there? Number one, you're not going to have your big food storage, and I got a year's worth of supply of food over here. Oh, you had that lady cleaning your house? She saw that. Oh, your neighbor came over one time and saw your garage or whatever you had, saw that food. That neighbor is going to be telling all his friends, his or her friends, hey, El Gringo's got a year's supply of foods. Last time we all tried to go down to the market, there was fighting or stabbings, people died, military got involved. I'm too old to deal with that. How about you guys? Yeah, yeah. El Gringo's got it in his garage. Who does he think he is to come over here and move over here and not share with us and help us? It's real easy to justify, hey, I'm your neighbor. Why aren't you helping me? Why aren't you? You guys ever watch the show Naked and Afraid? They had a new type of it. Normally it's 21 days. Can you survive naked and afraid with a partner somewhere? They did a 40 extended version, 40 days. And it was groups of people, a total of like 13 or 12 or 13 of them. And they were in groups of 3 at first. And then they could find each other if they wanted to and then make bigger groups, whatever. There was a group of 2 guys. They handled business. And notice this other group of 8 isn't quite doing so well. Likes to lay around a lot. Not pitching in a whole lot. And we just killed this massive, massive eel in this. And I think they were in Brazil. Actually, come to think of it, I think they were in Brazil, in this little lake or whatever, little stream from the lake. Huge meat for these 2, and he decides, well, they start cooking it, and look who shows up, the 8 group, who weren't supposed to exactly meet with them, but happened to go down the same trail as them. And you guys are cooking something. So he felt like, well, this is a huge amount of food. It'd be the right thing to do to share with them. So they shared this feast with them. Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. This group of 8 now is sucking badly on capturing their own food. And every time these 2 guys are like, well, why are they all laying around? Why are they laying around so much? I mean, we gave them that handout on day 1, but I mean, like, next time we get a big thing, we're going to just keep it. Sure enough, they're struggling some more. He captures this another big eel. Big one. Same thing. A couple of the guys come over from the other camp who were laying on their asses. Hey, you need any help with that? You need help with that? No, I got this one, bro. I got this one. They're like, and so he turns around. He's got that one. He's got that one. He's fine. Turn around, everybody. Turn around. He's got that one. You're gonna sit on your ass and then expect when those people who aren't part of our group get something, they should just give it to us because they already did so far. And even after all that, he still said, I think I'm still going to share it with them. I still feel it would be right to just share it with them. So he shares it with them anyways. And of course, they're talking crap while this is going on because he didn't say right off the bat he was going to keep it. So they go back and their whole group's pretty, justifying in their head why they deserve some of that. That's a different group. They caught it. They killed it. They got the crap electrocuted out of them by this electric eel twice now from the 2 different times they've killed it. 2 different eels. Neither time did you experience that. They tried to catch one time, and this guy's in there with his arms like this. If he comes out of this little spot I got here, I'll feel him go by me. You're going to feel this giant electric eel go by me? Oh, you're going to feel it. And let me tell you something. When it left, he felt it, and they did not capture it, and he got his crap shocked out of him. The other guys stabbed the thing with a stick, and at one point used a machete to chop its head off, and that's when he got nailed. But now it's done, And those people justified so quickly and so easily. This is our food. This is our food. As if it's there, like if it was as if it was really theirs. They deserved it. Those two guys were like, I like keeping it with just us two. Man, 8 more miles, 10 total miles, that's a lot of miles to feed. We were working great. We don't have to deal with the drama and anything else that they're dealing with. Because then you got people who want to lay around most of the time, and some people who don't. Some people want to go out. I want to go off on my own. Why do you always go out on your own all the time? This is a survival situation. Once again, you're in Guatemala, you're in Brazil, you're in anywhere, and the locals know that you've got anything. Maybe nothing, just a fact. Maybe you go there, you don't have a food supply, you don't have any of that crap. Let's go down that route, because the average American who's going to leave isn't going to go do that. They're just going to, I'm leaving, I'm going to South American country, and that's it. They're going to have automatically know to have a year's supply of food. No, they're going to just go do their thing, which means they will be in that line with all of those Spanish speaking people who are citizens of that country, probably go back generations. And here's Whitey Gringo. I'm going to get in this 5 kilometer long line, and when it's my turn to get up there, I better get mine because I'm now a citizen of this country. And the rest of them are going to look at you like, you stupid gringo, wait till your dumb butt gets right around that corner. That food is ours. Because in their mind, it's going to be easy to justify why you, who came from America, you gringo, who caused this pain and suffering to us, because their corrupt governments are going to be pointing the finger at us too. They're not going to be saying, well, we had these agreements with the CIA and we had our own little oligarch family club parties, but we can't let you know that. We're going to jump on, oh, everyone's blaming America? You too? Oh, you too? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, America's still at fault. They're a dollar. Any gringo in that country, they're going to hate you. As much as I thought to myself, man, if I just had the greatest opportunity, job of a lifetime, whatever, just planned out and came knocking at my door to leave the country, man, I'd probably take it. And it didn't take me too long to think about that and say, no the hell you wouldn't. Are you crazy? Jay Snip, are you crazy? You're going to leave the country and go to another country, another society, completely different than that of even closer resembles America. A Spanish speaking nation where people literally live pretty poorly. It's a culture shock of epic proportions. But you're so fed up with America, oh, I'm just gonna get out of here. Mm-mm. Then you become one of these refugees who are running into Greece and the EU and demanding all these rights and food and give this to me and it's mine. No. People, you need to stay in your own country. If you got problems in your own country, you need to deal with it in your own country. If you got problems with your government, you need to deal with that government with other like minded people. The good news is that there are millions and millions and millions and millions and more coming by the day of like minded people who understand the situation. So this video serves as a single purpose to tell you don't even think about leaving the country, at least not for a Spanish speaking country. I don't know. I honestly don't know where you're going to go to Europe. It's like going here, except over there you can't have any guns. What are you going to do to protect yourself against some of these people? Some of these enraged Muslims that are coming over there who are demanding all these rights and things that they need. I've seen some of the videos. It's not pretty. What are you going to shoo them off with a shoe? Get out of my house. Oh, they brought, 50, 50, 60, 70 deep. How's that working out for you? Now let's rewind that. Press play in America. I hear all this chanting and weird noise outside. Oh my God, it's a bunch of whatever group, Asians, Muslims, immigrants, Mexicans, and whatever. Hold on. Unlock the gun safe. Which one would be better? Shotgun or AK? AK's got a little more scare factor. Let me bring that out. I could walk around my entire property with that gun brandished, open carry, on my property. Of course, America, and in Florida especially, you can't open carry. So if I take one step off my property, up, it's a federal offense. One step minus, not a federal offense, completely legal. One step forward, felony. Back on my property, 100% freedom legal. Isn't that weird? Does the Second Amendment say anything about that? Certain step on this property, that property. It just says everyone has the right to bear arms, essentially. Nonetheless, as messed up as it is, at least I have that still. And you fire off a couple of those rounds, pop, 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 in the sky or in the dirt, whatever you have to do. If you've seen a band of, crazies coming down your street, coming to your house to try to take what you got, that might stop them. And keep in mind, what you're going to say, well, what's going to stop them from being armed? And you're right. What will? So I'll go to the path of least resistance, which all human beings will always choose to do. Just like water, just like electricity, just like air, it follows the path of least resistance. Guys, do we want to fight this guy? Do we know what else is in his house? Do we know how many more people have guns? Is there anybody else in this neighborhood that might be armed and now heard his shot and understand to come outside? Maybe he was signaling other people to come outside. Let's go to another area. How easy would that be? Let's go to another area. Let's leave this area. And they will. There's a whole bunch of places to choose. They want the path of least resistance. When these crooks are out there robbing you, when I used to hear about it in the sheriff's office radio all the time. Oh, got someone breaking in this store, robbed this store, blah, 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 blah. You say to yourself, those people are suffering because actions that our politicians have done. Why aren't you people going and finding them and stealing from them? Even you could look at their offices, you can figure out where they live. I mean, if you guys really wanted to pay, make the person pay, you'll steal from them. Why? What did I just say? People follow the path of least resistance. And your sorry butt walking to the grocery store from your car is the path of least resistance. Let's rob that sucker right there. They don't care whose fault it is. All they know is I need this now. I'm going to take it. That's how it works. That's how it works. Now, go to another country where you're not even allowed to own a gun, and it's a whole different language, and you're an American. Folks, I think Gerald Celente said a while back he thought about that too and wanted to leave. So he actually went out and visited a few different countries where he thought, if I'm going to go somewhere, this is where I'd go. And he said, when I came back, I realized there's nowhere else to go. I'm not leaving. This is my country. We all, our forefathers, they fought for this country. This country was the beacon of freedom. And damn it, we're going to fight for it. I'm not going anywhere. And that was his ultimate decision. And that should be yours too, honestly. But whatever. Just want to share that little piece of information because if you leave, you may decide, I don't think it was actually a good idea to leave. Although you may find, someone may report to me, hey, Jay Snap, man, it's me from like 2 years ago. Remember you did that video, said not to move, man? You sorry piece of crap. I did move, and I almost didn't because of you. And I'm loving life where I'm at. Everything's great here. Granted, certainly there's going to be somewhere on this planet where it didn't really get affected too much. Who, what, when, where, why, I have no idea. And if I did, I would go there. But I don't. So the next best solution is to stay right here and deal with things here. Take care.